Why hello there, this is B.O.X Productions, and welcome to another episode of Path of Exile. In our last episode, we did a little bit of soul searching, while continuing to see what has changed since we left. We're now getting ready to check out Mervale's old place.
The Brand King, his time has almost come. Then hope will be... I will be gone. Please, take the black flag. It once fluttered from the mast of the Black Crest, Whalem Roth's ship. Throw it into the flames of the beacon. It's your only chance of reaching me, of turning this tide. The King can't keep secrets like this from me any longer. It's just the way of things. Find me, please, before...
At least our luck with encountering fish ladies in this cave is better this time. We even got something out of it. Wait a minute. Is that water flowing up? Okay, aside from the water flowing up, this place looks about as normal as it's gonna get, I guess. I don't know about you. I'm getting kind of tired of long walks on the beach. They usually involve encountering things that want me dead. I mean, I guess you should expect that if you're going on like a long walk in a prison or a long walk in an eldritch abomination. But getting out on the beach just kind of ruins your day. You know what I mean? Okay, this place looks kind of important. Ah, it's one of these things. I think I showed this off when I did the video about the labyrinth, didn't I? I think I also said that you can only find these things in the labyrinth. So if I said that, I guess I lied. Oh, I guess there's a second one we have to take care of. we go. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get flashbacks to Act 2. Remember that time we made everything go dark and everybody got mad at us? Those were some good times.
So you're the shite that's gone and summoned me to the beacon, eh? Damn it all. Rules rules, and now I'm bound to you. The legendary Whalem Roth, captain of the Black Crest. Cursed to be the undead slave of some lowly outcast by the looks of it. You got an ass for a brain in a tick skull of yours? Of course I'll ferry you to the Brine King's bloody reef. I'll be wanting to discharge this accursed duty and get back to me afterlife. It's not right. Not natural being above water without a beating heart in me chest. So get yourself aboard and be quick about it.
Yeah, sure, why the heck not?
Don't think I'm going to be bawling and chaining after your sorry ass once our journey to the reef is done. Right, well on with it then. Go find yourself a salty sovereign to dethrone. Fool's errand, if you ask me. Old Bryony will gut you like a fish, but at least with you dead in the water, I'll be free to get on with me own voyage. So off you go, matey. Lord of Salt and Scales, what we used to call him. They say when the gods got the boot from our lands, that monstrosity went to sleep down in the deep. Dreamed the kind of dreams that cause all sorts of guild abominations to rise up, to plague and hunt us for what he thinks we must have done to him. Was a time we got ordered to hunt them things near extinction, free the trade routes from old Bryony's tyranny. Even so, not a sailor worth his salt who won't sacrifice a lousy deckhand or two by light of the full moon just to keep that overgrown crab slumbering in the Oriathan trench. If he's risen again, you bet your bloody ass we're all buggered.
Normally I leave that last bit of dialogue for the end of the video, but it feels pretty relevant for what we're about to do, so yeah. I guess we're on our way to fight the so-called Brine King. I mean, hey, if nothing else, we're gonna be saving a lot of people from getting thrown overboard with some silly whatever they're talking about. I mean, we know a thing or two about getting thrown overboard after losing a dice game, whatever it was. Man, that thing could take a punch. Or a slash. Yeah, whatever. That was a lot of dudes. nice. We got another challenge out of the way. Good for us. Well, the moment of truth. Time to go get our Long John Silver on, or Captain D's, whichever you prefer.
So strong. So dedicated. A man like you would never disappoint a lady in need. You're a gift, don't you see? A sumptuous feast for His Majesty on his wedding day. Really, we are both so touched by your generosity.
Face to face with the final boss of Act 6. And of course he introduces himself by putting up a barrier so we can't hurt him. What a jerk. He'll occasionally call in some of his minions, and they can be quite a nuisance if you let them surround him. They're just mainly there to fill up your flasks. A neat little touch that you probably noticed is that we can set him on fire. My common sense tells me that's because we're doing fire damage. I never actually fought this boss with a character that didn't have any source of fire damage, so I can only assume. Here comes the fun part of the fight if you're claustrophobic. You have to stay in this tiny little space to dodge these attacks. If you walk in the water, it does a lot of damage to you and slows you down. So don't do that. Afterwards, it goes right back to the first part of the fight. But the water surrounding you recedes closer and closer as the fight goes along. Safe to say it becomes a pretty close quarters fight near the end. Done, son. From here to the end of the video, it's pretty much all NPC dialogue. Just letting you know right now.
And thus the Lord of Salt and Scale sinks to feed the fishes that flit amongst the ruins of Soartha. Come and jest of his divine juices while they are all washed away.
How did you? You're still breathing. Bloody barnacles on me arse. You, my new friend, are a legend of the high seas to behold. I tell you what, I've already done my bit getting you here, but if you're looking to sail on to Frisia, me and the Black Crest would be honored to take ya. Hold on to your cockles, me hearty. The sea betwixt here and Frisia be the most ill-tempered there is. Here's hoping you've as much steel in your gizzard as you seem to in your heart. Cast off! What'll I do now? This here broken bridge speaks to me some. A fair place to rest my old bones for a bit. And tell you what, with all this sunlight and fresh air, I can feel the calling forth of the poetic muse beneath me trousers. Been a long time since I felt this here compass point in any direction. Now, speaking of navigations and the like, a long time ago, I had me a nice collection of riches stuffed away in a lockbox. Being the stupid ass that I am, I buried the thing one eve when I was high in my cups. Can't for the death of me remember where except I know it was near this broken bridge. The box has a silver locket in it. It holds the portrait of my late wife, Meredith. It's the last thing I have in this world to remember her by. If you happen across my lockbox in your travels, I'd be appreciating of its return. Here our ways divide.
Judging by that rather curious ship and its aberrant captain, I imagine you had rather an interesting voyage here. Now, Inquisitor Maligaro. We must have his soul. He has most certainly returned to his old haunt, yet his manifestations are like wisps on the wind. There one moment, gone the next. While I am familiar with the phantasmal trails and tributaries that filigree this reality, Maligaro's exact whereabouts eludes me. You should speak with these desperates who cling to this broken bridge, that young Templar scholar in particular. Their mundane knowledge must provide where my enlightened sapiens cannot.
Ah, yes. You do seem to have a penchant for presenting yourself when times are at their most perplexing. It would seem that our Almighty has forsaken us. False deities from ages past now rise and ravage, while our blessed innocence remains as silent as the stones at my feet. So much for Templar propaganda, eh? Well, I suppose if we are to fend for ourselves, then I should answer your troubling arrival with our own most pressing tribulation. The relic that washed ashore and started all the chaos. It was covered in ancient vowel inscriptions. The symbols were much weathered, making them challenging to translate, yet I did my best. The inscriptions spoke of the god Ralakesh. If this object somehow housed the spirit of that many-faced monstrosity, then I fear we are all in danger. Ralakesh was renowned for his penchant for subjugation and control. Please, I urge you to destroy this god before his strength and dominance grow insurmountable. Nip this divine threat in the bud, as it were. Our poor friend, Grust, has likely become Ralakesh's avatar in this world. At least his recent behavior would indicate as much. If you could see to Grust's passing, Ralakesh will be forced to retreat into the relic. Destroy the relic, and perhaps you will also destroy the god. The end of learning is the beginning of death.
You arrive. The Great Spirit spoke in my dreams, told me that darkness would again drown our lands, and you, Exile, would walk before the flood. But what is this? You are not alone. A shade, a memory, older even than... No, older than spirit? Fear grips my throat. I shake, but the spirit drapes a warming cloak upon my shoulders. This ancient ghost that follows you, it has the trust of the spirit, and if the spirit trusts, then I trust.
Turn your back for the barest moment and Rayclast bites you in the proverbial. I imagine that's how you're feeling upon visiting us this time. It's how I feel about now. I'm afraid that the Inquisitor's spirit has indeed returned to the Chamber of Sins. Yet while you won't encounter Meligaro by wandering his halls, I do perhaps know how you can find him. Whilst investigating the Fell Shrine, I learned of the existence of a map, forged by Meligaro from his own viscera. This map allowed him to transfer his spirit into another form of existence, an existential safe house to which he could retreat should death ever attempt to take him. Understanding the map's purpose, Vol tried to destroy it, to no avail, so he locked it away deep within the ruins of Frisia Cathedral. Find that map and place it upon the Reverie device in Meligaro's old laboratory, and when you step over that threshold, expect the very worst. Journey well.
That'll do it for this episode of Path of Exile, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like and comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. It really helps me out. In our next episode, we'll explore this place and see what's changed here as well. And I guess along the way, I guess we can try to find that guy's locket. Anyway, it's been B.O.X Productions, and I'll see you next time.
The Black Crest. She lives again. And me granddaddy. Still can't believe Mervale did that to him. The bilesome bitch. At least his spirit roams free once again. Wonder if he'll come and visit his favourite granddaughter one more time. Anyways, with the Brine King gone, you've done a fine thing for us seafarers. The waters won't no longer pander to the whim of an overgrown, bloody crustacean. And damn me if I don't feel a stirring in me loins. It's the ocean, calling, like a lust-starved lover. But for now, bugger it all. I'll be sticking about Lion Eye's watch until I get me a new ship. Don't feel sorry for me. With me womanly wiles as sharp as they are, I'll be having Tarkley help me pass the time. Just you see.
Clearly the old Brine King wasn't worth his salt. A fish out of water, if ever there was. But, I suppose, as someone wise once said, you can't teach a crab to walk straight. Too much. Yeah, be honest with you. All this fishy mirth is me just swimming around a tricky topic. Nessa. She's not coming back to us, is she? Can't say I'm surprised. What with everything she's been through, what she's become. I wish her all the happiness she can find out there in the sea. More than she could muster on this God's awful land of ours.
I'd hoped for a chance to see Nessa again. Dreamed it like some poor bloody child believing in fairy tales. No, she's not one of us anymore. But at least she's not like Mervale either. Can't overlook a mercy like that. Who knows? Perhaps Nessa is better off this way. Not like this is much of a home to come back to anyway. Look, I know you did what you could. And for that, you'll always have my thanks.
Old salty Sogoth, pickled in a thick brine of ignominious carnality. Vanity was Sogoth's downfall, and I think he grew his shell just to shield himself from the shame of it all. It's time he sailed out to that reef refuge of his, cracked his carapace, and dined on the divine meat beneath. When I first met Sogoth, he was a seafaring chieftain, the beloved leader of a prosperous and sprawling fisher tribe. It was the curse of legacy that made him into the blasphemous Brine King, an endless madness of propagation and disappointment, all in the vain hope of recreating himself. Fishwife after fishwife he took, and every one of them spawned a monster. A truly noble king would have surrendered his kingdom to cleaner blood. Alas, although Sogoth had many fine qualities, generosity was not one of them.
You've got the black flag from your grandfather's ship. Ah, the Black Crest were the most formidable ship to ever sail the seas. Yet now it's a hulk of rotted wood and bone, mouldering away in that forsaken graveyard. But why is it there? You don't think that Mervale... Never. I wouldn't even think it. No Roth would ever fall victim to that tentacled sea hag. Wayland must be out there somewhere. Yeah, castaway, that's it. For now, you'll be off to safe passage to the Brine King's Reef, and there ain't no ship going to get you there faster than the Black Crest. So as the only Roth present and accounted for right now, I hereby give you permission to burn that flag and the beacon. Might as well see if there's some truth in that old legend about it resurrecting the wrecks of Roth's past and other less notable vessels. Maybe when this is all done, I'll take the Black Crest for myself and sail out in search of me grandfather. He's too hardy an old barnacle to kill, so he'll be out there, somewhere. Yeah, I know the Brine King. What pirate doesn't? Drown me fair share of mutineers under the full moon, to keep the old king's slumber when storms threaten, you see. If he's been roused from the depths, it'd be nothing but ill tidings for those of us with air in our lungs. He'll be getting back to raping and eating us ocean-going folks soon enough, stealing wombs in which to spawn his slithering offspring. Aye, that blasphemy is out there somewhere right now, I'd wager. And to think there'd still be folks needing transport from Oriath. More commissions to be had. But a lecherous sea god, now, that complicates things.
If Nessa thinks you can use that old rag of a banner to rustle up a phantom ship, who am I to argue? I don't need to understand how she comes back to us, only that she can.
You've the deck of the mighty Black Crest under your feet, and old Waylam himself to man the helm. Well, I'll be a pirate's monkey, mate. You sure do know how to travel in style, Exile.
There was a time before the beast, bathed in the shadows of lost memory, when men and women like you could ascend. Through rareness of quality and the adoration of their people, these few could reach out into the quickening mists of immortality and grasp the power of godhood. Mind you, transcendence is never easy. Like the pains of childbirth, it reeks of agony, tragedy, and sacrifice. The sacrifice most often being of one's humanity. That is simply the way of it. Those of us who seek the immortal throne live long enough to see ourselves become truly monstrous. Let us go hunting, this time amongst the ruins of an encampment most familiar to you, once inhabited by your friends, the Asmeri. Ralakish. He's ruthless and cruel with cunning unfathomable, yet he bears one defining weakness, a fear he forged into chains of his own keeping. His is the terror of grasping too much and having it all slip through his fingers. It makes him irrational and therefore vulnerable. Ralakesh, the illustrious master of a million faces. I call him the god of hide and seek. While other deities waged wars, spread their seed, and laid waste to whole empires, Ralakesh perched on his throne in a dark palace of ebony, choked with incense, blinded by obedience, and deafened by a senseless cacophony of brass gongs. Thankfully, he never had the courage to peek over the high walls he built, else the world might have been in trouble.
It's a bit of an embarrassing affair, truth be told. Thought I could return to the golden days, you know. Be a terror of the high seas like in me youth. Problem was, they'd all forgotten me. Those young blighters sailing about, they had no clue who I even were. Figured if I could complete another great feat, like slaying that sea bitch Mervale, maybe that'd earn me my respect back. Suppose I don't need to tell you. That girl is stronger than she looks. All it took were one slip of the old hands, and next I knew, the Black Crest were right against the coast, and I'm getting myself eaten alive by that hag. Peeled each separate muscle from my bones, she did. I tell you, it weren't pretty. Aye, I know Lily be missing me something great, and it cuts me deep not to go visit the lass. Thing is, I reckon she should remember me as I was, not retch at the sight of the spectre I be now. Let the legend live on in her mind, I say. Ina's a pretty young thing, ain't she? Bosoms to eclipse a sun she has. Might be that I spent some time here. Get to know the lass a tad more. Never mind that she's young and alive and I be, old and dead. Once she hears me poetry, that is. Not a girlie alive who won't want for a bit of the old rot tooth once he breaks out the, tongue twisters and word plays. Not that she'd likely hold much interest in an old ghost like me. Still, a man can dream, even a dead one. Ah, that lassie. Pretty on the eyes, I reckon, but she's got her knickers pulled up far too high. Bit uptight, if you ask me. Eramir, though he's a tad dull, tends to ramble on a bit. Still, he's a few interesting stories of his own, so might be worth chewing the fat with from time to time. Think of the worst place ye can imagine. That's Pondium. Now think of the gods be damned best whorehouse you've ever had the pleasure of. That's Pondium. A pirate paradise full of bodies to stab, holes to fill, and devious liquor to imbibe. Brine rots control the whole island and make sure it lives up to the lowest of expectations. Can't imagine much has changed since I was there last. Still, it's a good place to swashbuckle and make love to a bawdy, buxom bunter out back of a boozy bar. Aye, them brine rods be a nasty bunch. Led by me very own flesh and blood, me baby sister Lucy. The rot mother, they call her now. Used to be that I were their leader, back when the brine rots were about one thing, and one thing only, raiding, pillaging, and plundering their scrawny black guts out. Old Lucy were me first mate, for years. But she got a whiff of the power that being captain could gain her, and mutineered me own sister. Dropped me on some deserted island off the coast of somewhere. The bitch. Took months to make it back to the mainland. That Brinerod clan's been trouble ever since. Used to have some good old-fashioned pirate on 'em, and now they're raving mad lunatics out for their next fix of fear and fortune. Always keep your eyes on the horizon.